everybody, this is Sandy. Today I'm going to make an egg roll in a bowl. Now, I am making this version of this gluten-free. By no means do you have to make a gluten-free. It's kind of for everybody, but I want to show those who are gluten-free that you can actually enjoy egg roll. I already prepped my vegetables so this video wasn't so long. So you need, right here is what you'll need to make this. A head of cabbage. Now I used a smaller head because it's just for two of us. You will need sesame oil. You will need soy sauce. So if you're gluten-free, of course you're going to use coconut aminos or Bragg's aminos. If you want it spicy, put a little pepper flakes in it. You're going to need white sesame seeds, and then you're going to toast them. Some people toast them in the oven. I just put a skillet, a dry skillet, on the stove, and I put in 2 tablespoons. You must definitely do not want to walk away from them because they will burn. They brown really, really fast. You need, and garlic is a personal preference. I like a lot of garlic, so the recipe is basically like 4 to 5 cloves. You can use as much as you want. And what you're going to do is you are going to chop it or mince it, whatever is good for you. And on your cabbage, you're going to chop it finely. If you see some bigger chunks in there, like the white part, I basically just kind of take that out. You are going to need ginger, fresh ginger. You're going to grate it. Just use your grater, peel it. You can leave the peel on too if you want to, but I peel it. So you're going to need a tablespoon. And then you're going to need some fresh scallions. Another personal preference on how many you use. I like to use a lot. Okay, so you have your cabbage. Oh, and you're also going to need a carrot. You don't need this big of a carrot unless you really like a lot of carrot in it. And you're going to make matchsticks. So first what you're going to do after you prep your veggies, you're going to mix your ginger, your garlic, you're going to take your sesame oil, which is a tablespoon. Now there is a lot of sesame oils out there on the market. Just use your personal preference, what you like to use. The soy sauce is 1/4 cup. And you're just going to mix this together and just let it set. Now in the meantime, what you're going to do is you can use ground beef if you want. I am using shrimp because that's my preference. But so what you're going to start out doing first is after you get everything prepped and ready, you're going to brown your ground beef. Now, since I am not using ground beef, in my skillet, or well, since it's like a stir-fry kind of type, you could use a wok if you wanted. I just lightly oiled this. So you're going to put your cabbage in there. And look, see, there's a couple big pieces, and they're not going to cook down all that well. You can just kind of recut them if you want. Put your carrots in there. Now I leave out kind of like 2 onions because I like to put those on top. So just kind of cut these into chunks with the green part. put those in here. Now, I'm going to take this over to the stove and I'm going to cook this for about 3 minutes and then I'll be back. Okay, so I thought it would be easier if I just brought you over to the stove. So this is what it looks like after 3-4 minutes of cooking. It cooks down. So now this is when I am going to add my shrimp. And I'm going to drizzle over the vegetables. I'm going to drizzle over the soy sauce mixture. And we're going to let this cook for like 4 minutes. Hi everybody, this is Sandy. This is the second part of what we're going to do for our egg roll in a bowl recipe. We're going to make a gluten-free phyllo dough. And we're going to deep fry it. And we're going to add it to the egg roll mixture. This is gluten-free. If you do not need it to be gluten-free, by all means, buy the in the refrigerator section, the egg roll wrappers, and just kind of cut them into whatever size you want to stick in your oil. So that's entirely up to you. So let's get started here. What we're going to do is we're going to take 2.5 grams of psyllium husk, and that is this. Now, if you only have powder, use only 2 grams. Now, this is all going to be in grams because it's important not to just use a tablespoon or a cup. So you put your, I'll use this one. Put your bowl on there and then zero it out and measure 2.5 grams. And then what you're going to do is you're going to measure out 50 grams of warm water. You are going to add your psyllium husk to the water, and it's going to create a gel. It only takes about 45 seconds, but make sure you get it all in there without any lumps. And we'll just set that aside. So you're going to put your bowl on there, and we're going to measure out 100 grams of gluten-free flour. Now, I personally like to use King Arthur, but I also like Bob's Redmill 1-to-1. You can use whatever gluten-free flour you want. I'm not endorsing any particular brand. It's just that I seem to have good luck with these two. So we want 100 grams of flour. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to measure in grams. I know it seems like a pain, and it is, other than just putting it in a cup. I have just a little too much. There we go. Now to this, we're going to add 7.5 grams of sugar. And then just add that to your flour mixture. And then the next thing now, if your flour has xanthan gum in it, you're only going to measure 2 grams of xanthan gum. If you made your own mixture of flour and there's no xanthan gum in it, then use 2.5 grams. Well, I forgot to zero out my dish. There we go. Put that in your flour mixture. And you want to have 1 gram of salt. And I just use pink Himalayan salt. And then what you're going to do with this is you are going to add your gel mixture. As you can see, it's a gel. You're also going to add the remainder of the water, which would be 25 grams. And then you're going to add 15 grams of melted butter. So let's get all this out of the way, because we're going to have to roll this. Now you're going to want to use just a rubber spatula to incorporate it. And then you can just get in here with your hands and mix it up. You just want it to all come together. Kind of like how you would do like a pie dough or a bread dough. Now what I'm making is just half of a recipe, because there's only 2 of us that are going to be eating this. You want to lightly dust your surface. You want to tear this off, make a little ball. But in the meantime, while you're doing this, you want to heat your oil. I use vegetable oil. You can use whatever your preference is, and make sure that's 375 degrees. Now, when you roll this, you want to start from the middle, and you want to roll it towards you. Don't be going all different directions. That's not going to work. So stretch it out towards you. You can turn it. You want to roll this as thin as you can roll it. you're stretching it. It's really hard to remember not to go all different directions like you do for like a pie crust. Now that part is pretty thin. This one I need to stretch it down further. Now I'm only going to do half of this and I'm going to deep fry it so we can finish up this video on the egg roll. And then I will just come back and do the rest of it. That seems pretty thin. Because you don't want them to be thick. I think that's pretty thin. So just come across and cut them to whatever size you want. I mean, you can do super skinny ones or a little bit fatter. I think after the first time you make it, you'll kind of decide how you like it. See, they kind of want to break. So you got to be really careful. Use the tip of the knife to come down through it. It seems to not make it break. Okay, so now I'm going to go over and I'm going to put these in the deep fry. It's going to take less than a minute and I will be back and we will finish up our egg roll recipe. Okay, I'm back. The phyllo strips are done. They took only a couple minutes in the oil to fry up. They're crispy. Depends on how you make them. Some have little air bubbles in them. Some are a little thicker. It's not about perfection on these. They taste really amazing. And I just use a vegetable oil. You can use whatever. You could use a peanut oil. I think vegetable oil might be the best way to go. Now, the egg roll mixture is done. It smells great. So I'm just going to stick it all in a bowl. And while I was making the phyllo to take a substitute for the egg roll wrapper, I just kept my mixture on low. And it stayed nice and hot for me, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break these. Put them in here. I'm not going to mix them around. You can kind of do that when you put it on your plate, because I would like them to stay crispy on top here. And then you're going to take your toasted sesame seeds. And then when you put it on your dish, you can, add more if you want to. I'm going to take some hot pepper flakes. And I'm going to take my remainder of my green onion. Cut it, put it on here. And there you go. You have your egg roll in a bowl with the phyllo that will take the place of the egg roll wrapper. And like I said, if you're not gluten-free, just go ahead and cut up pre-made regular egg roll wrappers. So I hope you give it a try and I hope you enjoy it. And like I said before, you can just substitute out your protein or you don't have to put any in whatsoever. Thanks for viewing.